Welcome to The Hero Maker. In this series, we follow Richard's appearances on other shows as he talks about how to grow, play, think, and live like a hero. Join him as he discusses thoughts, principles, and life lessons, all essential for anyone building their heroic brand. All that and more, only on The Hero Maker.
Oh my God, this is like the life that everybody wants to have. Just live on the wheel and go anywhere you want. And I'm really glad to know that you are really doing that. It's amazing. So how did you actually got into the whole online business or RV business where you could just literally take your RV and go anywhere and then your business is online pretty much?
Well, the answer is really long, and it goes all the way back to I can't remember. I was 9, 10, or 11 years old. My dad came home one day with the copy of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and he put that in my hand. He's like, "I think you'd enjoy this book." And over the next week, I read the book cover to cover probably 5 times, and was sort of obsessed. And over the next 10 years, I became the weird kid on campus, right? I was in middle school, I managed to convince my parents that instead of dropping me off at the Boys and Girls Club after school, that they should instead drop me off at Barnes & Noble. And I would go into the business section and read all the books I couldn't afford to buy because, I was 13 and, I didn't have any money of my own. And by the time I was a freshman in high school, I convinced my dad to give me a $50 loan so I could go out and buy candy wholesale at the local big box store. And I was bringing it to school, like the proverbial guy in New York, showing them my wares. I was, selling out of my backpack, but I was selling candy. Made $1,000 or so in revenue from that before the powers that be, right? The authorities shut me down because apparently you have to have a business license in order to sell food on campus, and they won't give a business license to a 13-year-old boy. So I tell people now that I had my first government shutdown at 13, but I've been sort of in the business world ever since, and spent a lot of my time trying to figure out how to build a business that let me have some very specific things. And over the course of time, I wasn't always capable of really articulating it this way, but over the last couple of years, I know exactly what I've been trying to build for a long, long time. And my business name that I use for my legal business name is called 5 Freedoms. And the 5 freedoms that I talk about are spiritual freedom, which is having a relationship with your Lord and Savior; political freedom, which we enjoy here in the United States, where you can do and say whatever you'd like within reason, basically. And then so most people are familiar with those two. And then there's financial freedom. A lot of people are familiar with that. That's not having your choices constrained by finances. And then the last two ones that I think most people miss are time freedom and location freedom, right? And time freedom meaning that you can choose to do with your time what you want, right, without constraints from other things like work or commitments. And location freedom meaning that you can choose where you are at any given time. And most people assume that financial freedom is required before you can have time freedom and location freedom. And that's incorrect. And something that I've learned over the years, that actually it doesn't take a lot of financial ability in order to have location freedom and time freedom, especially in today's world with access technology and stuff that we have. So over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, I put a lot of effort into figuring out what types of businesses and what types of things that I was good at and that I could help and serve and provide to the market that allowed me to work from anywhere and also work with not a lot of time involved, right? Where I could put in a little bit of effort and leverage that either with employees or with systems or with automation that allowed me to have more of my time freedom available as well. So we could travel like that. And a couple of years ago, my wife and I, a lot of things just sort of lined up, allowed us to move into an RV, take our business on the road. And since that point in time, we have traveled 26 states, done a little over 20,000 miles, had a baby on the road, quadrupled my business both in revenue and in terms of number of employees. We've got 4 staff members, including myself, working with us now since when we got on the road, and it's been a blast, and we're looking forward to growing and continuing to do that.
Wow, that is truly amazing. Like, wow, having a baby on the road, I mean, that's pretty intense for anybody, especially if you have when you have a pretty strong foundation, a home and a partner, whatever, but trying to have it on the road, that's like, wow.
If you want to hear the rest of this discussion, please check out the link to the full episode in the description below.